Hey y'all. So I just wanted to make a quick little video about something that's been on my heart since this weekend. When you are someone who's been diagnosed with PNES or non-epileptic seizures, the tricky thing is do you keep it to yourself or do you share it? I've chosen to overly share it, obviously, because it's just something that's so not heard of. I just wanted to know who else was dealing with it and what other people thought. So for me, I've decided to share it and to be very vulnerable. So I also want to share what that means now, like what the response has been from other people, and also maybe some tricks for, those other people, for people trying to support, if they know anybody with seizures or non-epileptic seizures. So the biggest challenge I have faced, honestly, is that people do the same thing I did, which is you research it. You Google PNES, and when you Google it, it can lead you in so many different directions. I'm sure if anybody who has experienced seizures or non-epileptic seizures, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, you get so much different information. It all tries to point back to being psychological, but then when you get on the psychological side, a lot of it says it's neurological. The truth is somewhere in the middle. It's a neuropsychological disorder. They don't know what the triggers are. They don't know what has happened. They've had some success in certain types of counseling that is like behavioral therapy, but also geared with the neurological side. So the challenge for me is knowing that people Google it, and how I can always tell. And first off, let me say, I love everybody who has researched it on my behalf, who has looked it up because they found out I've been diagnosed. I appreciate it. So please don't hear this as me saying, oh, they researched it again. Like, I actually really appreciate it, because that shows that you are invested in me in a way, and my family right now, and what's going on. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So I hope no one takes any of this personal. It's not meant for anything other than encouragement for other people. But I always know when someone has researched it, because you get two responses. You get someone who sends a message and says, oh man, I saw your video, that's crazy, like hope it works out, praying for you, right? And then you get the messages from some that have gone, oh man, I saw your video, and based on my research, or I looked up this, or the first thing they bring up is something traumatic that they think has happened in your life, or remember when you told me that story? I wonder if it's because of that. I wonder, if it's because of this. I'll make sure to not bring it up. Is it okay if I bring it up? So, I guess first, let me just start by saying, like, people who are around people with PNES, okay? For me, based on my symptoms and what it looks like for me, I do not mind people bringing up things and saying, do you think it has to do with this trauma or this hurt? I don't mind that. I really don't. Because I am open to it being trauma related. If that's what it is, then I want to figure it out, and I want to, stop having seizures. So one, let's break down that wall of should I ask, should I not ask. I will be very clear if there's something that shouldn't be asked. If I thought that talking about a certain subject would cause me to have a seizure, you best believe I would make sure that nobody talked about that subject until I got it figured out, because I do not want to have these seizures. Okay. Obviously you guys know that, but just explaining it. So for anyone who has been around me when I've had a seizure, let me just take the weight off of you. It's not something you did, something you're doing, something you should have caught or been watching me more closely, or what were we talking about. Just take that pressure off. The best thing for me is for everyone to be very normal. So y'all should know, as soon as I know what a trigger is, y'all will know what a trigger is. So far, I think maybe it's being really tired, and again, like I said, sometimes standing up after sitting down for too long is when I'll have a seizure. So a side note for the people who are trying to support someone with PNES, it is absolutely okay to do your research, but don't let that become the box, because there's just so little they know about it. I mean, that's even when you're diagnosed with it, they say they don't know much about it, they don't know the treatment. So I feel like for me, I can say as a patient with PNES, or as a person, I don't mind the research. I don't mind knowing people are researching it. I just ask that it doesn't become the lens that they start seeing me through. I think that's the fear. And if anybody else with PNES has felt this way, let me know. So I know it's not just me. But I think the fear in the back of my mind is that people will do the research. They'll hear psychological, they'll hear pseudo, that word comes up a lot, or conversion disorder, and they'll just think that that's what it is, that's what it has to do with, and that's how they'll start looking at me or treating me. Now, that could 100% be a fear. Y'all who know me could say, I haven't even thought of that, I don't see you like that, and that's awesome. But I'm just being real that that's the fear when people research it, is what are they going to think this trigger is? And as soon as you hear psychological, it feels like something you should be able to figure out, right? And it's just not that simple, I guess. So that's the fear on the, for my side at least, of someone having the seizures. The other thing is, I think a lot of people don't know what to do when I'm having one or coming out of the seizure. So I just wanted to touch on that really quick. That the being normal is really, my light is flashing, that's weird. Being as normal as possible is really kind of what helps me. That flashing light is gonna drive me crazy. So weird. Anyway, so for me, the hardest part is the confusion I feel afterwards. So when I've come out of a seizure, I'm normally confused on where I am, or I have to find someone I recognize, right? Or my dog helps. So if I'm somewhere other than my home, I typically have to say out loud where I am. I have to kind of reboot that day in a way and say, okay, we were here, but we came here. We're at this restaurant, or we're at this hair salon, or we're at this store, or whatever. And I don't get out that much right now, but when it happens places I'm not super familiar with, it helps me to just voice. Okay, we're at Target. Okay, we're at this restaurant, right? And so for people supporting me through it, honestly, it is so helpful when I have to say that or ask that, if it doesn't feel like a weird question that I'm asking it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll try to explain. If I feel like, if the response is like, yes, that's where we're at, like, are you about to have another seizure? Or I understand that it's from a concern standpoint, but when that's the approach, it kind of shuts me back a little bit of like, that was dumb that you even had to ask that. It's dumb that you're confused. You don't know why you shouldn't be confused, this and that. So that doesn't happen every time, but when you're not clear in the head just yet, it's amazing what type of emotions can try to jump on. Okay. That is truth right there. When things aren't quite clear, oh, air conditioning. Sorry that just got so loud. Let me just turn it off. Anyway, when things are not clear in my mind, I haven't become less confused yet. That's the time I struggle the most with guilt or feeling crazy or feeling, I'll get emotional. And sometimes just when you're confused, you get emotional because you don't know what's going on. It's scary, it's a scary thing. So, for anybody who afterwards, if you're with me and I have a seizure and I have to state where I'm at, or I ask where I'm at, I know it's a weird situation, but if you just kind of confirm for me, yep, we're still at Target, or yep, we're here. We just did this, we're here. That helps tremendously. It really, really does. Now, I don't know what other people's seizures look like. I don't know if the confusion's a part of it or not, but for me, that is the biggest thing that makes me feel more, makes me feel a little bit more secure and safe, is once I can get established where I am and who I'm with. So, if you know someone with seizures, honestly, I would just say the best thing is to ask them. If you're going to hang out, just ask them, hey, if this were to happen, what should I do? The other big fear that I have, I feel like I want to start getting out more and doing more things, but obviously I can't drive, so I wouldn't be alone, but I have this fear that someone is going to call an ambulance to come get me, or something like that, and that would be pointless because we know what's going on. So I would love to hear also people with epilepsy or PNES. What do you guys do in that case scenario? I know some people wear bracelets and things like that, but yeah, so I guess I want people to know who are supporting us right now and other people that have had seizures. Like, it's 100% okay to ask, what does it look like, or what should we do in that case scenario, you know? Sometimes that's a little easier, honestly, than me having to get in the car and go, all right, let me get this out of the way. If I have a seizure, blah, 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 right? Which is what I do right now, because I don't want anyone to get caught off guard, and I also don't want to feel embarrassed about it, that's the biggest thing for me when I'm out and about, is feeling embarrassed that it happened. So, yeah, just to recap that, research is not bad. Research is fine. I've chosen to stop doing a lot of research because it was engulfing me. Like, it was really taking over, and I wasn't getting more answers, Now I just research other people who live with it because I want to know their stories. I want to know y'all's stories. So, for people supporting other people with seizures or non-epileptic seizures, like, research is so okay. But just be willing to talk to the person about it, like, so that I feel like that fear of now you're going to look at me like a psych patient. If we can talk about it, then that's going to make me feel better. I am to that point now. That's where I'm at now, almost a month in to having these, is that I'm very open to talking about it. So, if you are someone with PNES, then I encourage you to be vulnerable and share about it. It has to be with people you trust. But I would, because for me, it makes the whole world of difference for me to feel safe in that moment. And like I said, with the confusion, that's the worst part for me. So, yeah, thank you guys for the support, for everybody who supported us. And, I mean, we have been incredibly blessed by this. I can't even tell you guys how amazing the support has been. So I just wanted to share that insight today and say to my friends who have researched, who have been there, no, you're never the cause of a seizure. What we're talking about isn't the cause of a seizure. If I ever find out that something is, I promise I will let you know. And in the process, just talking it out helps a lot. And talking like normal helps a lot, especially right now. I'm trying to get back to normal. So, yeah, I would love some thoughts or feedback on that. Or if anybody has any questions about if you're around me and I have a seizure, what to do, what does that look like, feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, I love you guys. God is good. It's a wonderful day outside, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And, yeah, have an amazing day.